Hello, fellow bass players. Welcome back to part 2 of my lesson on harmonics from the Bass Player University. I think most important thing you can do when you're learning harmonics is play them alone. You may have noticed in the first video that sometimes I would play one. See, it didn't happen that time, but I'm always playing a certain way, so I don't know if you caught it there. Listen. When I touch G string, I got rid of this other unwanted overtone. These are called sympathetic vibrations. So do your best to listen very carefully. I have headphones on, so it's going to be more noticeable. But if you're playing through a good amplifier with decent volume, you will notice there's extra noise you didn't want. Working out the kinks, so to speak, is a big part of getting harmonics right, because you want to make sure you're isolating them. When you play one note here, of course, I'm just getting one note. Another major factor when learning early on, and one of the many things we focus on at the Bass Player University, is getting what you actually meant to get when you approach any bass line or even just pluck one single note. Can you put your finger down, pluck every string, and just get the one note you want? For example. But that's not what this lesson is about. We just discussed natural harmonics in some detail. So now I think it's time that we take a good look at the power and the possibilities that come with false harmonics. There's a lot of different ways to catch them, and there's a lot more to this instrument than what I have here, 24 frets. False harmonics can go as far as you would like them to. So let's talk about the easiest way to get one. Because no matter what, the easiest harmonic to get is where I started last time. Let's say we have open A, 12th fret. 12th fret is the easiest harmonic to get. There's actually some wiggle room. You don't get wiggle room over here. As soon as you move, it's a new harmonic. So how do we take advantage of that at a false harmonic level? Now we're getting to something interesting here. Jocko, and I only mention him several times with the harmonics lesson because if you ask anyone who does this for a living, you will see. They agree Jocko kind of got this whole thing pushed, this whole thing going. At least in the modern era. So he liked to pluck behind his thumb. I like to pluck behind my pointer finger. I like to point to the node. This is just my own personal preference. And either one will work just fine. So let's see if we can get an octave from a fretted note. A note we wouldn't normally get. C, as a natural harmonic, it's a little sharpy flatty. This is the nature of the overtone series. It's what nature naturally produces within a fundamental pitch. When we use equal temperament, which is how all of our Western music systems are created, every note is equal to each other. So as a result, the harmonic series actually makes some notes sound weird, which is another reason why, again, C here, not quite right. Let's match it with this. If your ear is telling you something's off, it's correct. They're slightly out of tune. So let's try a false harmonic, because then we're going to get a pure octave. Fret the 3rd fret here, C. I'm going to go past 12, because 12 is an octave above the open string. Go to your next dot if you have one, and that's the 15th fret. 3 plus 12 is 15. So this note here is one octave above this note here. If I tap, you'll hear it. There we go. C, C. But we can use this pointer finger as a node and pluck behind it with the middle. Check this out. Here is C. Now I'm going to pluck and I get the node. All of the properties exist for what we did earlier. Earlier, with the natural harmonics, we had 12, 7, 5. Now, we're going to have 15, 10, 8. Let's try that. Now we get the same thing. Make sure my settings are a little more spicy for this stuff. That's how the false harmonics work. Now, this can go a lot of different ways. First thing to mention right now is that these notes are here. We have all of those notes here. So these false harmonics are giving us a new way to get a certain tone, but they are notes that are on the fingerboard. You can get 2 or more octaves higher than what's available on the fretboard. Let's take a look. You have to imagine what happens past the fingerboard. If we had more frets, they would get smaller. Frets get smaller from low to high. The notes get smaller. So let's place our finger here on the 12th fret of G. If I want 1 octave higher, I add 12. I get 24. Let's try the node. Let's pluck behind my pointer. Now that's an octave higher. A different tone, but once again, it's a note that I have. If I go 1 fret above that, now I get a note that I don't have. Now I can start traveling past the fingerboard. Sorry, I missed that last one there. So now I'm an octave above E. I think it's coming through pretty clear. I can do entire scales here. So, as you noticed, I missed a few. I'm not here to be perfect or flashy. That is not the point of the Bass Player University. I'm not going to take this in post and edit it like crazy. I might make sure the levels are a little beefier, but overall, I'm giving you what you get here. And the point of this place, of this university, is to make you the best bass player you can possibly be. So, being honest with ourselves, finding mistakes, this is part of it. This is part of becoming better as any artist. The requirements are that you are honest and that you approach things with integrity and the will to keep learning. Okay, having said all that, let's experiment a bit further now. Can we get higher notes than this? Maybe, but we'll save that for the end. Let's take a look at a lower octave. A video I had put on TikTok I don't even remember. It must have been over a year ago. And it hit 30,000 views immediately, and I couldn't believe it. Did not expect this. I was just messing around, just testing out my TikTok. I never even used TikTok before. I don't even like saying TikTok, but it's a good place to get your message out and for a lot of people to see you. So what did I do? I played an F sharp major scale. And when I was done, instead of finishing the octave here, I finished the octave at this F sharp 1 octave higher. 2 plus 12 is 14. Now I've got a whole different set to work with. Now I play the entire scale from here. Position didn't change, same F sharp major scale, but I have to imitate the frets here. And it's got to be in line, it's got to be right. Otherwise you'll get, see, thin, very thin, wrong sound. There it is. Repeat the process. Go up an octave. Now I can go from here. missed some of them. It's all right. I'm not looking. It's fine. There. No thinking, it gets better. Now, can I go higher? Let's try it. There it is. So, once again, no perfection here. This is a very timeless art. It really does require a lot of patience and persistence and work. But as you can see, I'm fairly effortlessly working my way around these upper reaches here. Let's take it from the 1 octave higher again. As you can see, I'm trying to barely move, and that's the point. Now the frets, technically speaking, would be very small here. Sometimes you barely move. Look at this little note here, E sharp to F sharp. I'm barely moving this node. That's the goal. Now, is there one higher? What do you think? Leave a comment, like and subscribe. Tell me what you think. Let's see. There it is. Yeah. Oh man, almost perfect on the way down. It's tough. And I don't like that word perfection or mastering. We don't use those words here. Practice makes better. Always strive for better. You can actually go far beyond this pitch, several octaves higher. But is it necessary? Is it worth it? We'll see. Now, one other way to achieve this, which can be named whatever you'd like to name it, I kind of think of it as a slap harmonic, is you can get your note down. Let's just say we're going to B flat. Why not? Now, here's my higher octave. I'm at 6. 6 plus 12 is 18. If you want to, much like earlier when I was just pressing down, all right, you can actually get this without plucking first. Right, I'm not plucking. You can actually get the note by making sure you don't press. I'm hitting hard, but I'm leaving my finger there so I don't touch. This can be achieved while fretting for false harmonics. Oh, I missed the last one there. There's plenty of action to be had here, even if you're just playing a simple bass line. There's plenty to be done with false harmonics, especially if you add this little slappy tappy thing. So I hope that you enjoyed checking out some of the false harmonic world that exists. And remember, experiment, have fun. It's very hard to be perfect. So when you're staring at a camera like this and trying to aim, it's not quite the same as when you're usually doing your thing and taking a good look at some of the spots. Remember, don't feel like it's cheating. You can use your locations. If E is about here, then remember it that way. See, my E happens to be right at the front of this pickup. That's something to be memorized. Also, this E can be here, and you'll get the same thing. So there's lots of different things to know. And last but not least, it doesn't have to be the octave. The octave will sound best, cleanest. But if I go back to B flat, let's say I do the octave. Let's say I want its fifth, which is F. Now I did an F major scale while fretting a B flat major scale, which is pretty cool, right? Any of the harmonics that exist from this note can be turned into a scale. Now, if this is F major, and I'm still fretting B flat, I can turn this into D major. There's no D. If you don't get it perfect, you may have noticed little tiny inklings of other notes want to come out, but it's still a really interesting way to make a whole different sound for yourself. Every single note can give you a number of different harmonics, with false harmonics or with natural harmonics. But as you can see with false, you have control over the scale that you use, the chromatics. Anything that you want is here. Full chromatic scale. Whatever you're looking for is all available. This and so much more is what we do here at the Bass Player University. We have a syllabus every month that changes with the needs of the student, weekly assessments, paragraphs, and a score. We get tests every month. Loads of fun, I assure you, much progress. Part of the test includes play tests. Certain songs, parts of a song, a really crazy riff that everyone needs to know. You never know what it's going to be. And that's part of the fun. And playing with a bunch of people, you never know what you're going to get either. But no matter what, you're going to make lifelong friends, and you're going to make yourself the best bass player you could ever be. I hope to see you here. Please like and subscribe. Follow me for more. All the links in my show notes will lead you to my website and anything else that you may want to know about my little world here at George Messa's Bass Player University. Thank you again.